Remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification. Good morning, everyone. This is Karl F. Rose recording from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, October 15th, 2019. And you're not going to see any extra effects or intros or anything. This is just going to be a blunt, to the point video after last night's disaster. That's what I'm going to call it, a disaster. Normally, you would see me wearing my YouTube hat, but I decided this hat was more appropriate because there needs to be something done with the NFL. After last night's disaster, and even the commentators on the Monday Night Football were talking about the bad calls, and when they were calling out, they've never done that before, and on national TV, the referees gave that game to the Lions. So I'm starting something. I'm starting hashtag investigate the NFL. And the reason for it is I pay a lot of money and I see a lot of the games, and I've got something here on my cell phone from my upstairs neighbor, who happens to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I'll read that in a minute. But here's the problem. The NFL is rigged. The NFL has just turned to trash. It's a joke. Yeah, you'll see that on my thumbnail. I'm going to have a trash can because that's basically what it's got to the point where it's no fun anymore. And since I see everything, even 2 weeks ago, there was a game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I really don't like the Steelers, and I do like the Ravens. The Ravens won the game, but I even texted my neighbor and said that was just awful because the officiating gave that game to the Ravens. The Steelers should have won that game. And to me, this just, there's something rotten in Denmark, and so we're going back and forth on this. But those two, on those. There was the Green Bay Packers actually were grabbing the face mask of the Lions players, and there wasn't even anything called. And those two calls on Trey Flowers, and the announcers even said that in his career, mind you, and Trey Flowers' entire career, he's never been called for that. Why is now two bogus calls while he's on the Lions? There's something going on and something wrong. Something against the Lions and something against, Roger Goodell has got to go. He's got to be removed from the commissionership of the NFL, period. Last night was just beyond unacceptable. In my view, the Lions are a 5-0 team. At the worst, they should be 4-0-1. The Lions outplayed Green Bay. The Lions won, even though they had basically zero running yards. That's the only thing that I could really criticize the Lions about, is that, with the exception of some poor pass blocking on some plays. But for the most part, the Lions won the game. They're a better team than Green Bay by far. But is it the networks? Is it the advertisers? Is it the commissioner? Is it the league? Are they all in collusion to prop up teams like Green Bay and New England? And even I texted my friend the first week of the season when the Steelers got blown out 33-3 by New England. That was a bogus game. Granted, New England probably should have won the game, but not. There's just no way. Not at that time. Big Ben was still in, and the Steelers were a relatively healthy team. So you can't tell me that something is rotten in Denmark. There needs to be accountability all across the board, from the owners to the referees. What I want to see is a complete congressional investigation. And what I'm asking is, what I'm going to do, see, I'm normally on the internet, some sort of forum on either my tablet or other device. Now I'm on my regular laptop. But I start at 5 a.m. and sometimes, depending on what I do, not till like 8 p.m. So 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. usually I'm somewhere on the internet, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm getting at is I'm going to try and get off early because I am going to make a phone call to my representative. And so for all the people in the Detroit nation, and I don't care what city you are, if you're Atlanta, Dallas, I mean, my God, you can't tell me that the Cowboys are that bad of a team. That game with the Packers, that was just absolutely miserable. The Cowboys are not that bad of a team. They might not be the best, but give me a break. What's going on with the Packers? Because the Packers are not that good. The Packers are not a 5-1 team. The Lions are a 4-0-1 team, at worst. They should be a 5-0 team. And you can't tell me that the San Francisco 49ers, bunch of cheaters, you can't tell me that they're a 5-0 team. They're not. So, what I'm going to try and do is get off the internet as early as I can while the office is still open. I'm going to call my congressman, because this is an election year. And since they're so busy in all these other investigations and stuff, let's get Roger Goodell. He needs to answer some questions. He needs to be grilled in Congress. And he needs to be removed. He needs to be removed from the commissionership. And furthermore, the head of the the head of the officiating crew needs to be called in, because the officiating is all around. I mean, throughout the. I mean, I've seen the plays go against the Saints. Everybody's seen that one, where their calls blew the game for, against the Saints. As I said, the Steelers, and there's a number of other teams. I can't remember now, but a number of them. I've seen all of them. I'll have to go back and review some things. But the officiating crew, I can do a better job at officiating than these people. I guess they must be either drunk. Maybe they should drug test them. Are they drunk? Are they high? Or who's paying them off? This is just beyond ridiculous and totally unacceptable. Totally. So, for all my Detroit people out there, Micro Mike, Derek P. Fields, Noble Sports Entertainment, Man Beast Morris, 313 JMO, There Goes Mobby, Motor City Sports Talk, oh gosh, there's and Dosa Dion, all of you out there, get on the horn. Call your representatives. Let's flood their phone calls and get something going here, because I, for one, have had it. Now, let me get into another thing that should be, I think, who should be held accountable for all this? First of all, let's start with the commissioner. He needs to be held accountable. The owners, all 32 teams, all 32 team ownerships need to be held accountable. The referees and their association, and the players, whoever's in charge of the rules committee, he needs to be held accountable and given the boot. These calls are pathetic and ridiculous and one-sided. They keep saying that there's parity in the NFL. I don't buy it. There's only a few select teams out there that are getting the royal treatment the right way, and then the other teams are getting the royal treatment the wrong way. They're getting flushed down the toilet. So something's got to be done. That's why I'm saying hashtag investigate the NFL, because the whole league needs to be revamped. It's not even fun to watch it anymore. It's a joke. It is an absolute joke. The referees are just clowns out there. They're like the Keystone Cops. They're befuddled old men. Get some people out there. Maybe get some more women out there. I'm in favor of that. Not just because they're women, but I think there should be equal treatment. I don't think. That's another topic, but for another discussion altogether. But let's see some more objectivity and some more diversity in what type of referees, what type, whether they're male or female, or whatever their skin color may be. I think there needs to be more diversity in NFL. Look at what you see out there. They all seem to be old white men, and I think they're one step away from the grave. We need some younger people. We need diversity as far as ethnic diversity, and we need gender diversity as far as the officiating goes. Period. And so, again, what I want to say is I'm calling my representative, because there needs to be. I want to see another thing. I want to see the owners. I'd like to see some changes in regards to ownership, and specifically, I'm targeting here the Lions and the Cleveland Browns. If you get ownership of a team, you need to be held accountable. And I think there should be a window of like 10 years. You need to be able to prove to the league that you're fully capable of building and developing a team which is capable of not only competing, but competing at a championship level. And if your team does not get to the playoffs, and if your team is staggering around last place and you're not getting anywhere, then after 10 years, you need to relinquish the ownership to a competent owner who knows how to run business, or to a group of owners, maybe former NFL players, former coaches, players and or coaches, that sort of thing, who know how to develop a team and who know how to win a championship. It's totally unacceptable to see two cities, Cleveland and Detroit, to not ever be in a Super Bowl. There's something wrong there. There's something wrong. And Cleveland, from what I've seen so far of Cleveland, they are better than their record proves. And yet you hear the announcers just bashing them just as much as they bash the Lions. You can't tell me that Mayfield is that bad. Yes, he's made some mistakes. But, my God, it's to the point where it's really obvious that there's just like something going on. I want to find out who's getting paid, who's doing what, who's calling the shots, because it's obviously not Roger Goodell. And they say there's parity. No, there's no parity. There's something. It's a buddy system somewhere, and as collusion. And I want to find out. I want to get to the bottom of who is colluding with who. And I think in front of Congress, who should be not only Goodell, the head of the commissioner, the head of the referees, the head of the player association, head of the rules committee, and all 32 owners or groups of owners need to come before Congress and find out what's going on. In addition, the networks, the top networks of ABC, CBS, NBC, ESPN, and Fox, they all need to appear before Congress and answer some tough questions. Because this is just, it's beyond entertainment. I've been one saying, well, yeah, football's all entertainment. Now it's just outright corruption. Period. And it's not just the Lions. It's the Browns. The Saints got rigged. Um, and you can't tell me that the Cowboys are that bad. That game against Green Bay and the Cowboys, that was just, that was hard to watch. So there's something going on. Anyway, I want to sign off on this, and I did a podcast about something else. But if you want to get into the kind of the political thing of it, head to my channel and look at Karl's Corner podcast, and I talk about a different subject. But I express my views very strongly on that. Anyway, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe link. And the notification, hit the bell notification, and I will talk to you next time. And this is kind of my game review too. Lions basically had a lousy running game. They need to improve that. Their blocking was not very good at all in all forms, but they definitely played better than the Packers. And as far as I'm concerned, they won the game, but it wasn't called that way. So get on the phone, call your representatives. Let's investigate the NFL. It needs to be done. I will talk to you next time.